Hey, welcome to 2022, my fellow investors. It's me, E.T. And remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm just a self-taught investor who's always looking for ways to increase one's net worth. Now, one of the ways that I'm increasing my net worth is by investing in dividend stocks. I have a dividend portfolio that's actually doing pretty well. And back in November of 2021, I really started to take a look at the stocks that was in that portfolio because I want to increase not only the amount of dividends that I'm being paid, but I also want to just really also just increase the overall value of that particular portfolio. So I really started taking a look at some of these here, and one of the companies that I looked at, I decided, you know what, let me give this company some extra attention. And I'm talking about some laser focus. And one of the things that I'm going to do with this particular company here that I'm looking at is I'm going to aggressively add to my share count. Now, this particular company is a high yield company. And I am going to increase my share count. I have it set up under a DRIP, a dividend reinvestment plan. So I'm going to increase that so that way I can get more in the way of dividend payments. And I also think that this company is in a position that within the next few years, it's going to take off. So hopefully I'll get both. And I think that if I can drastically increase my shares, a lot faster than the current route that I'm on, that I'd be able to take advantage of that capital appreciation that I feel is coming. Now, so what I did is I put together a strategy to really capitalize on that and really focus in on this particular company. Now, I don't recommend this to anyone. This is something that I'm doing. So whatever you do, don't take this as financial advice. This is one of the things that I'm going to do. But I've decided to go ahead and document my journey and to find out whether or not it'll work. At the end of it, I'll either be a hero or I'll be a zero. Now, this strategy is going to be a long-term play. I'm looking at least 5 years. That's always subject to change. As situations and circumstances changes, you have to make the necessary adjustments. Now, the company that I'm talking about is Invesco Mortgage Capital. The ticker symbol is IVR. And what I want to do is I want to go over some of the pros, the cons, and my goals when it comes to this company, as well as look at a lot more detail and the price action. So let's take a look. Invesco Mortgage Capital, ticker is IVR. Let's go over some details here. First of all, my goal. I want to accumulate 5,000 shares of IVR. Currently, I have about 1,800 shares. And the reason why I want to increase this to 5,000 shares is because of two things. Number one, I want to generate income by way of dividends. Currently, right now, IVR is paying 9 cents per quarter per share. So if I have 5,000 shares at the current rate of 9 cents per share, that would be $450 per quarter, or $150 a month if you want to break it down to the monthly level. Now, also, I want to sell options on that. IVR is an optional company. However, I want to wait until we start to see some price increase with that, so that way I can start selling some covered calls on IVR. And not only that, capital appreciation. I think that the IVR within the next 5 years, I don't know exactly when, it's slowly recovering, but I think that it will get back to its previous price floor prior to CV19 hitting. So with my goals outlined, let's go over some of the pros, some of the cons. There's always pros and cons with any and everything, especially when it comes to investing. Now on the pro side of the house here, the residential real estate sector is booming. All right? It's going crazy. I live in San Antonio, Texas. In the neighborhood that I live in, I've seen a 13% increase in the value of my property over the course of just 1 year in 2021. That's phenomenal. That's pretty much typical across the country. Also, their main advisors to IVR is the Invesco advisors. Now, Invesco advisors are some of the top advisors on Wall Street, even though they're located in Atlanta, Georgia. But also, IVR is under the portfolio of the Invesco company. So that, in my opinion, is a huge plus. Also, the current price of IVR is about what, $2.78. That's way below the pre-CV19 price. You know, March of 2020, CV19 really hit, and we seen IVR fall off a cliff. IVR prior to CV19 hitting was maintaining at least at a bare minimum $12 a share. It's at $2.78 a share right now. There's plenty of potential there. IVR is a REIT, a real estate investment trust. I like REITs mainly because they give you a higher dividend yield, and also by law they have to pay out 90% of their profits to the shareholders. Currently a 12% yield. That's a high yield, but that's probably within the norm when it comes to your REITs. Some of the securities are government backed. So that basically means they got the backing of the U.S. government. When I say some of the securities, I'm talking about residential as well as some of the commercial. Insiders are buying. That's always a good sign. Follow the insiders. They know what's going on within the company. And also, institutional investors equals 52%. 52% of the investors in this company are institutional. Also a great sign. But let's take a look at the cons. On the cons, it's in the real estate sector. Now, I just said the residential real estate is booming, but it's still in the real estate sector. With the real estate sector booming on the residential side, you're talking about, we're always looking at possibly creating a bubble. And anytime you have a bubble can burst just like it did back in 2008. I know the circumstances are different, but however, the prices are going up primarily due to inflation. When inflation hits at a 6.8, the last report, 6.8, when inflation hit, everything goes up. You know, the price of goods and services, but also the price of assets, to include real estate. So inflation is definitely a con. High inflation is definitely a con. Also, we're looking at the Fed are projected to raise the interest rate at least 3 times in 2022. That doesn't fare well in the real estate market. And also, the commercial real estate sector is recovering slowly. We don't see the boom that we see in residential on the commercial side. The commercial side, it's slowly improving. And that is also what's causing their earnings to slowly improve. Just like with anything, you follow the money. When it comes to IVR, as the earnings starts to improve, so will the price of the stock. As the price of the stock starts to improve, because it's a REIT, they have to pay out 90% of their profits. So will the dividend rate also. Keep that in mind. So there we have it. We have the pros, we have the cons, we have my goals. But let's take a deeper dive, a deeper look into IVR. Let's look at the price action. Let's look at the current position that I have. And I also want to talk to you and show you the performance trackers that I will use. And I said trackers, more than just one. And once you see the trackers, you'll understand why there's more than just one. All right. With that said, guys, let's go ahead and take a look further into IVR.
Come on now.
That's right. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe buttons
followed by that notification button. That'll help out the channel. Thanks.
Is Invesco Management Capital a good long-term investment? You guys already know I believe that it is. And then the reason I came to that conclusion for because I've owned the stock for a while and I've seen the potential of the stock when it comes to dividend as well as capital appreciation. But also when you look at the history of the stock, price action, prior history of the stock, I came to the conclusion that this here is a good long-term play that should pay off very well. The company profile here, Invesco Mortgage Capital Company, is primarily focused on investing in financing and managing mortgage-backed securities and other mortgage-related assets. The company invests in residential mortgage-backed security, which are guaranteed by the U.S. government. That's a positive thing. But now on the commercial side of the house, the company also invests in commercial back mortgage-backed securities, which are not guaranteed by the U.S. government. So kind of keep that in mind. Now, guys, if you really want to learn a little bit more about IVR, back in August of 2021, I did a video on IVR. The link to that video will be in the description. Now, this here is a snapshot of the stock analysis from tip ranks. And as you can see that they gave it a smart score of a 7, which is neutral. There is no analyst ratings there. The tip rank investors, the sentiment for them is very negative. The bloggers, however, their sentiment is very bullish. And the news within the last 7 days, there's bullish, really not much there other than announcing when they're going to have their earnings and so forth. The hedge fund activity has increased. The technical analysis, yes, it's been going down, especially in the month of December. That's where we get that negative momentum coming from. And the insiders, they're buying shares, and the fundamentals from this company, return on equity, is down over the trailing 12 months quite naturally. But the asset growth is, you're looking at 44.83%. That's also trailing, but I believe that the asset growth is going to continue to improve. This here is the price action as of the last day of 2021. It opened at 286, closed at 278. This here is a 1 year chart. We see within the course of the last 1 year, the high was $4.60. Now, I'm going to try to accumulate and get up to my goal of 5,000 shares. As long as the price of the stock stays below that high of $4.60. So as long as it stay there, I'm going to continue to buy until I hit my goal of 5,000 shares. This here is some more fundamental information on IVR. The earnings per share, 32 cents. Now, one of the things I always look at, I always take a look at the earnings per share, which is 32 cents, and the annual dividend they're planning on paying out. So their earnings per share is 32 cents. So they're paying out more than their earnings per share. So that has a concern. That's something I'm going to be watching. I'm going to make sure that when we forwardly look at their PEs and earnings per share, I want to see this number increase and become larger than the annual dividend rate. Say that definitely a profitable company. The price to earning ratio is 8.59, which is not bad. The forward PE is the 7.24, which is an improving PE. I like that. Here it shows where the shares held by institutions, 52%. Very little shorting going on in this company here. And then we see the market cap of 866 million. This here is the revenue of their sales. And once again, we see that their revenue dropped off drastically when COVID-19 hit. And, it's been trying to recover since then. Here is the fourth quarter earnings announcement, and they're going to release the earnings on the 22nd of February. This here is the announcement for the dividend for the month of actually for December and the paying out in the month of January. And we're looking at 9 cents per share for the fourth quarter of 2021. The dividend will be paid on January 27th to stockholders on record on January 11th with an ex-dividend date of the 10th of January. Bottom line, you need to own this if you want to get paid that 9%, that 9 cents per share dividend. You need to own this by the 10th of January. This here is a 5-year chart, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 5-year chart on IVR. And one of the things I wanted to point out here, I think this is very, very, you need to know this, is look, here is the $12 line here. Since back in 2016, it has been above that $12 line until CV19 hit in March of 2020. And from there, as you can see, it tried to climb back up, but bottom line, it's going to be based upon those mortgage-backed securities. Once again, on the residential side is booming. However, because of the slow recovery on the commercial side, we're seeing that the price is slowly recovering as well. So as the earnings starts to increase, the price will start to increase, but also, most importantly, the dividends are going to increase. All right, here's the dividend history. And as we can see, in 2019, they paid out $1.59 total in dividends. And we see this drop, CV19, went from $1.59 to 12 cents. This is where I got into IVR. Anybody that was holding up here, they got devastated. And it's going to take a while before it to recover. But anybody who got in post CV19 has the potential to make a lot of money within the stock so far as not only in capital appreciation, but also in dividend growth. And as you can see, from 2021, it went from 12 cents to 35 cents. And I think in 22, we're going to see another increase. We may even hit 40 cents in 2022. Time will tell. This here is my current position in IVR. At the end of 2021, was at $2.78. I had a total of 1,800 shares. And remember, my goal is 5,000 shares by the end of 2022. This here is one of my performance trackers. This is going to help me keep me on track and show me where I'm at when it comes to achieving that goal of 5,000 shares. I got into IVR back on the 3rd of April of 2020. And this here is just the total number of shares I was able to accumulate from the 3rd of April to the 23rd of December 2021. Had a total of 1,625 shares. That there was my cost basis at the time. Then on the 27th and the 31st, I bought more shares at these prices here. So what this tracker is going to do is going to keep the total number of shares that I have, my cost basis per share, my total amount invested. This here just takes the current price and gives me an idea of P&L. I mean, as of the last day of 2021, I was still up 6%, even though the stock was trending down pretty much for most of the month. On this side of the tracker here, this is my goal. This is how many more shares I need in order to achieve that goal based upon the current price, $2.78. This is how much I'm going to have to invest. So that's what I'm looking at investing in at bare minimum in the month of, not for the month, but in the year 2022. This here kind of gives me an idea of what I'm going to receive from dividends. And this is what I mean. The next dividend is going to happen in January. We already know the announcement was 9 cents, payable on the 27th of January. So based upon the number of shares that I have, that 9 cents, they should pay me a total of $162.06. Now I have that set up with the DRIP, dividend reinvestment. So this $162, I have this also set up also. should buy me 58 more shares of IVR. And that 58 shares, we just want to just look at the 58 shares by themselves. That's going to produce $5.25 per quarter. Monthly, it's going to be $1.75, and on a year, $20.99 just from the 58 shares that these 1,800 shares are going to produce in January. So that's what I have to look forward to. Now, as I buy more shares and as the drip picks up more shares, I'll populate this section here. And as I populate this, everything else will automatically populate. So I'll keep you guys abreast. This will be part of my monthly updates when it comes to IVR. Now, let me show you the second portion of this performance tracker. But before I do that, one of the things that I did, if you notice, I'm also looking at possibly selling uh, some covered calls on IVR. And one of the things I decided to do is I decided to go out and buy a leap. I believe that within the next 2 years, we should definitely see some price improvement when it comes to IVR. So I went out and I bought a leap, a long-term equity anticipation security. That's what it stands for. And I went out to January 19th of 2024, the $3 uh, strike price, and this is a call. I bought a call. I actually bought an option. Didn't sell it. I bought it, and that was the trade date. That was back in November. I did a total of 10 contracts, so that's equivalent to 1,000 shares. At the price for that 10 contract was 85 cents per share. Remember, one contract equals 100 shares. So this is 1,000 shares. So you take this 85 times 1,000, and that gave me a total of $850. Here's my commission. So I went out and paid $856.60 for 10 contracts of IVR expiring on the 19th of January 2024. Why did I do this? First of all, I think within 2 years that we're going to see some price appreciation. If that's the case, the value of this leap will go up. But also, as once that starts to happen, the price appreciation starts to happen. With this long-term leap with 10 contracts, I can also start selling covered calls on it on some of the short-term covered calls. So whenever that happens, that's what I'll do. And that leads us into this second performance spreadsheet. This one here looks a little busy, looks a little complicated. However, it's not. This one here will be focused strictly on any covered calls that I write for IVR, whether it's from the leap or from the number of shares that I currently have. Um, I am not going to write any covered calls until we start to see a price increase, period. So this here is just tracking the leap. Here's the information we just went over. All right. When I did this on the 26th of November, the price of IVR was at $3.04. I did the $3 strike price, and actually I paid 85 cents per share. All right, this is just rounding everything up. The current value is 63 cents per share, so I am down 27%, 230 on the value of the leap. That's the leap right here. Now, as the price of the stock increase, the value of the leap will increase. I have really 2 years for this to play out. In the meantime, whenever I decide to start to sell covered calls, I will do short-term covered calls here, and I will populate this. As I populate this, it'll show me the P&L when it comes to the covered calls. It'll show the profits here, gives me the percentage. And as this starts to improve, I'll track that, and we can see the overall return on cash. So there's a lot of different plays when it comes to IVR. I'm not just sitting on it and holding it. Right now, I'm going through the accumulation phase. I've got my leap, and also I am accumulating shares. And once this price starts to move, I'm going to generate
to keep it, but I'm also going to start to generate some more money on it. So that is my overall game plan with IVR. And once again, guys, I will update you on how this is going on a month-to-month basis. Just like I said at the beginning, this is a long play for me, at least 5 years, uh, subject to any drastic changes within IVR. And during that time period, I will either be a hero, that basically means making money and making a lot of money, or I end up being a zero, losing a lot of money. Time will tell.
So there you have it, a deeper dive into IVR. Also, you took a look at my tracker, my current positions. Uh, what I want you guys to do is just to follow me along through this journey. I will do an update video once per month as we go through this journey of seeing when and if IVR will turn around, which I believe that it will. So do me a favor, guys. Make sure that you hit that like, subscribe, and notification button so that you can follow me along within this journey. And always remember, guys, please save, invest, apply what you know, because knowledge is not power. It's the application of knowledge is power. I will see you guys in the next update video. Take care. Bye-bye.